Happy Friday and warm welcome everyone. I'm Angelina and I'm the moderator of the Kyoto Peace Conference panel session, Women, Children and the Role of Indigenous People in Indonesia. As an archipelago country, Indonesia is populated by various migrations, creating diverse cultures, ethnicities and languages. That is why Indonesia people are vulnerable involved in conflicts, both the preventive or resolution of the disputes, sometimes driven from the top. Instead of uniformity, we must see Indonesia as a diversity. Contextual preventions and resolution to conflicts are necessary. Our 5 presenters are ready to share their experiences in 15 minutes of each presentation. Allow me to introduce them. Agustin Westiani, founder of Biyung Indonesia, a social enterprise that focuses on women and environmental issues. Aloysia Yosephin, a teacher and independent educator based in Papua. Niniek Febriany, one of the initiators of Book for Mountain. Raihal Fajri, executive director of Katahati Institute, has been a mediator since 2008. Albertus Vembrianto, an independent journalist based in Papua. They will present their stories in the next 75 minutes sequentially. During their presentation, all the participants can drop questions in the chat box. I will read the relevant question to discuss after the 5th presentation. In the last 15 minutes of the panel session, the presenters may answer all the big questions directly. Now I welcome Westiani Agustin from Yogyakarta City to start her presentation about women and environmental issues.
Thank you, Mbak Angelina. Rainy. Hi everybody, my name Westiani Agustin from Biyung Indonesia, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. I want to share about our movement in Indonesia that we call Women Support Women Using Reusable Menstrual Pads. Why women support women? There is a stigma in society that considers women as waste contributors from the consumption of single-use menstrual pads, which we all know that they cannot be decomposed in the soil, so that it will be inevitable end up being a pile of garbage. This is the illustration about single-use menstrual pads in Indonesia. If one girl or woman use 20 sheets per month, and in Indonesia we have about 70 million women with active menstruation, then there will be about 1.4 billion of single-use menstrual pads per month, and it means there will be around 16.8 billion per year. The 16.8 billion of single-use menstrual pads per year, if it stretches, the area can reach about 378 kilometers square, or equivalent to half the area of the city of Jakarta. For that reason, we start the initiative to produce reusable menstrual pads to contribute to the effort of reducing plastic waste. But along the way, this following question emerged. Is it right that waste become the root of the problem? Let's see. This is the Indonesian population graphic based on the rate of expenses. We can see the biggest population in Indonesia are from early middle class. It's about 44.5% from the total population, with $38 to $86 per month. But if we look at the amount of expenses per month, It really can provide the basic needs for a decent life in Indonesia? Meanwhile, the minimum needs for decent living family with 4 members each month is about $265 per month. And the notes are, this is a minimum needs amount in Yogyakarta. It will be higher than the other region because Yogyakarta is the lowest of regional minimum wage in Indonesia. It's about $142. Room rent about $36 per month. It's the lowest amount in Yogyakarta with the room 4 times 4 meters square. The reality, only 40% from the population in Indonesia who can buy the house. School needs for 2 kids are 15 per month. It's amount for kids who get free to the public school. So it will be more expensive if the kids get the private school. And very common, people buying cigarette about 1.1 times 30 days. So it's about $33 per month and higher than self-care needs. So only middle class can afford basic needs, including menstrual pads. And if we talk about the effort of reducing plastic waste, it becomes insignificant if we look at the rate of expenses. Only 20% of women from the middle class who can replace and buy reusable menstrual pads. There is an intersection between waste problem with another critical issue, that is period poverty. Period poverty is the critical situation for an individual or family who don't have access to the right of healthy menstruation, like water, air, sanitation, and hygienic menstrual products. They are unable to manage their period with the dignity. Period poverty is real around us, like wearing one menstrual pad for a day because they are not having money. Better to buy husband cigarette than buying menstrual pads. During menstruation, girls are afraid to go to school for fear of being ridiculed by their friends if they have leakage. The toilet is very dirty and there is no clean water. They cannot change sanitary napkins. In the village, many women still throw their used menstrual pads into the river for fear of being known to be menstruating. Period poverty is caused by poverty, discrimination, stigma and taboo about menstruation, lack of education and access to information about reproductive health rights, land conversion, environmental damage, and pollution. Also, lack of implementation of the policy. There is existing laws, but they are not implemented. Given such condition, solution that we can make are the first is education to building awareness of healthy living rights for women and the planet. The second is advocation to encouraging the improvement of health system for women and family. The third is collaboration, collaborating with all stakeholders to take action for the solution. That's why we want to contribute to the solution of the problem of period poverty and hope it will be significant with the target of reducing environmental damage. Biung Indonesia, founded in 2018 in Bantul, Yogyakarta, its activities and social enterprise aim to contribute to the efforts of increasing women welfare and preserving the environment. Biung Indonesia promotes the use reusable menstrual pads as media for education of healthy living rights and mindful consumption that brings good impacts to women and the earth. To accomplish the mission, Bio Indonesia develops a small business of producing batik reusable menstrual pads and various menstruation supporting products. The profit of the business we use for organizing activities of reproductive health education and for workshop of making reusable menstrual pads for vulnerable women's groups. We also develop women empowerment program that we call Women Support Women Movement. It's a movement to raise support and donation for procurement of reusable menstrual pads that are produced by vulnerable women's groups and would be distributed free of charge to the other women's group in needs as women's group in dense urban remote areas, also for women with disabilities. Our target is to encouraging women with 80% of poor, vulnerable, and early middle class of population who have period poverty issue. And our mission is to make a positive impact socially and environmentally that is for profit, people, and planet. You all can participate, support the movement of women support women. That's all for kindness of women of today, future generation, and our planet. Thank you very much. And this is our contact. Thank you, Reni.
Malam ini penting buat kami untuk kami menggunakan pakai atau menstruasi begitu, baru kami menggunakan pembaru ini.
Jadi saya berterima kasih atas sama teman-teman yang melatih kami dengan menjahit pembalut. Karena pembalut kain ini habis pakai, dicuci, simpan baik-baik untuk datang itu lagi pakai kembali, tidak kembali lagi.
Karena saya sangat bangga sekali karena hari ini ibu-ibu datang untuk ajarkan orang yang ini, ibu-ibu yang dipegang. Karena kami pakai pembalut yang itu supaya tidak jadi sampah. Pembalut yang di toko-toko itu buat sampah. Kalau kain kan bisa dicuci lagi terus dipakai.
Perempuan bantu perempuan pakai pembalut kain. Yeay!
Thank you, Westiani. The next presenter, Aloysia Yosephin from the easternmost part of Indonesia, Papua, will bring her story of her student.
Hello, I am Aloysia Yosephin Febriany. I am a teacher. The past 7 years, I learned with indigenous Papuan children. In the first year, I taught in highland area, and now I teach in coastal area. I'd like to present the story of my learning experiences in Papua, Indonesia. This is the map of Papua. So Papua is the easternmost area in Indonesia. Papua is divided into 2 provinces, Papua and West Papua. With the size almost 5 times of Java Island, Papua and West Papua have around 5.2 million population. This population consists of about 250 local tribes, which have 275 local languages. It is common for Papua to get labeled as left behind area, referred to low human development index with standards based on the national values referred to Western areas of Indonesia. The comparison of Human Development Index between Papua and national can be seen in this chart. Papua's Human Development Index is 60.44, whilst national is 71.94. This situation leads to shame and inferiority for indigenous Papuans, as stated in Jenny Munro research about rasa malu or feeling shame. Even a small case can trigger this feeling of unaccomplished, the national values for Papuan. In this picture, a cameraman is wearing instant noodle packages for accessories along with their traditional clothes in their ritual. They wear accessories from something they really fond of. It used to be something from nature like seashells or leaves, but now some change into instant food packages. In this slide, we can see children going inside the house area by climbing the fence. This is the door of the fence in highland Papuan houses. It is very different from the common fence for us. Why is the door built this way? It functions to protect the house and their livestock from wild animals. From this illustration, we can see that Papua definitely has different contexts with other areas in Indonesia. That is why contextual education is a must to do here. The national standard curriculum must be adjusted to the local context. The impact of using unknown objects in the learning process can lead to uncomfortable feelings like shame and primitive. Papuan are considered as primitive since the Dutch era in Papua, and the thoughts never changed until nowadays. Referred to Frere, teachers must understand the daily lives, the existential situation of their students, and the reasons Papua need contextual education are: First, language. I teach children from various tribes, from Lani, Amume, Kamoro, and Moni tribes. When teaching in Lani Jaya, the highland area, I have to learn Lani language in order to deliver Bahasa Indonesia lesson. As we can see in this slide, I translate Indonesia into Lani language to make it understandable for my students. Now, I teach English in certain coastal area. The composition of my students are more heterogeneous. They are from Amume, Kamoro, Moni, and Me tribes. I have to juxtapose their local language, English, and Indonesian language. This way, students fast learning both English and Indonesian language, and they find that their own language has similar structure with English. Second reason is children have great creative potential to create their toys from anything in their surroundings. Like in this picture, Maren, my student, created glasses from wire and masking tape. And when I went around their hamlets, I found them playing X water tank into rolling toy, can lid used for wheels, and they enjoy the puddle they found. And here my students build camp from unused woods, and they play fun running, bringing the unused tires. The third reason is Papua's enormous natural resources provide food, water, clothes, as well as playground and learning space for children. They have close relation with nature, and it creates their habitus and learning practice in their daily life. These are some situations I find in my daily life here. Highland Papuan have extreme garden location, usually in slope of mountain like in the left picture. And then they use a big stretchy bag made from wood fibers called noken, which is used to bring vegetables, livestock like pig, and also bringing the baby. Women carries the noken in the head and not on the shoulder. And it is not only one, but usually 2 or 3. So one noken for vegetables, another for baby, and another one for their working clothes. Papuan traditional house is called honai. As we can see in the left picture, the honai has houses and garden with high fence. Our students and parents love us very much. They usually bring vegetables and firewood for us. So food is never a problem for us teaching in the village, although it is in remote area. The coastal Papuan have their garden in lowlands. They get protein source from the river or the sea, and they are not breeding livestock. But nowadays, Papuan face challenging situation regarding environment and social situation. The development created by the government and the industries which began to expand into Papua areas have huge impact for the life of the Papuan. This situation also created different habitus from the western part of Indonesian people. And the fourth reason is they have their home learning methods like copying what parents do, and knowledge also transferred by parents or grandparents verbally. Some learn numbers and money by playing cards or gambling, and Papuan children literally learn everywhere and write in any surfaces like in the right picture. Besides teaching in formal school, I also teach children who have no opportunity of going to school in particular areas. And together with my husband, Fajri, we do sandwich project like this. I follow him going into the places he has photo story projects. I met the children and the parents also. And when teaching outside school like this, I have to create fun learning activities to introduce letters and numbers. And the words I ask them to write or read must be in their daily vocabularies. Learn everywhere here has literal meaning. I have to be able to teach in any circumstances. And of course, I have to be part of the community to be able to catch proper context in delivering knowledge. We also collect books from friends and our own, then send them to local communities or our Papuan friends who stay in remote areas. We have sent to Panie and Wamena so far. One areas I usually teach is the embankment of tailing disposal areas of a mining company. This is one of my classes. They learn near their parents. They learn near their parents' work area as illegal miners. We have super white blackboard on the ground. We use sticks to write. We do not need papers, pencils, etc. But I found these children are happier and not for learning because we have outdoor class and it is close to their families. One thing that makes me happy is they are seriously learning. To reach more Papuan children to education and being literate, we need no uniform. We just need a will to teach. And we can also copy Papuan children to use anything in the surrounding to learn and play. It is impossible to set a single contextual learning concept which is applied for the whole Papua. Contextual education must be developed based on local tribes' culture and current situation. The most important thing to set contextual education is teachers' perspectives and sensitivities towards Papuan life context. That is my presentation. I'd like to thank you for taking time out to listen to my presentation. I appreciate the opportunity given to me to speak in this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Yosephin. Now, Niniek Febriany from Yogyakarta City will be the next presenter who will fly you around Indonesia.
Hi, I'm Niniek Febriany, representative of Book for Mountain. Greetings from Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Here in Book for Mountain, we've been doing several community development initiatives for 11 years. We've learned a lot through this journey. Since early years, we've been experimenting on the most suitable way in empowering children and youth life in remote area of Indonesia. From 2010 to 2017, we were focusing on building or revitalizing children's libraries and providing access to quality books for children and youth. We were living in the community for 2 weeks to 1 month during each project. Through those programs, approximately 240 volunteers who were mostly university students and fresh graduates were directly observed and learned the grassroots problems in Indonesia, some things that they never really experienced during their university years. This resulting in the critical change makers who are willing to initiate community development movements and or working as a socio-planner. We built libraries and provided quality books. As mentioned before, we've learned a lot through building 44 libraries in 34 remote villages in Indonesia. Unfortunately, we learned that wherever we go in Indonesia, all the books and teaching materials in public school are exactly the same. They are all uniform. They are all urban-centric information, which are irrelevant and not relatable to children's daily life who are living in rural areas. This is our big question for Indonesia's educational system. Why teach uniform content while we are living in Indonesia, which are very, very diverse, geographically, economically, social, culturally, and we even have more than 800 local languages. And that great diversity should actually become our core competencies as a nation. We've seen this uniformity of the education system as a structural problems that has been around in Indonesia since a century ago. Not only the educational content and books, but all students are required to dress in uniform, and it is followed by other uniform obligations or assignments, language, behavior. We have to be uniform in almost anything, everything. Meanwhile, the main objective of education is to be a powerful tool to solve everyday's problem and make a better improvement of individual, community, and planet life. But in reality, since the educational content in school and books are very urban-centric, irrelevant, impractical to rural life, education turns out never really solved the actual problem in rural areas. Indonesia's educational system seems to highlight how sparkling the lives in the city are, how everything is so easy in the city. The younger generation keeps comparing the lives in their village and the lives in the city. As a result, since kids, as they get educated in school, they have uniform dreams. They are dreaming of moving to the city to quote unquote improve their life. The government could not control the rapid urbanization. The job demands and the number of job seekers are not evenly balanced. On the other hand, since 1990, we have already lost 2 generations of farmers. No one wants to be a farmer because lawyers or bankers are more shiny and rich. That is how school told us since we were kids. Indonesia's school and the learning materials are not teaching us how life in the rural areas is actually so abundant and full of potential. We have unlimited bandwidth of natural resources, have very good soil conditions, unbeatable scenery of landscape, and are highly rich in art, culture, local wisdom, and traditions. We could optimize the abundant potential for the good of the community and the planet if the rural communities get educated with the right knowledge. They could actually powerfully transform the lives of their community. They will know exactly what to do in facing the real problems and what to improve or to innovate. By educating with the right knowledge, we are highlighting our rich diversity, our core competencies, and that's a big glory. Book for Mountain envision that Indonesia has an educational system which respects Indonesia's collectivism culture, or we call it here gotong royong. We respect our great diversity and also respect people and planet by living regeneratively. And how to get there is by fulfilling these 4 aspects, from democratic and critical educators, curriculum, institution, to locally relevant content and learning materials. In achieving the utopia, in 2017, Book for Mountain decided to start small by choosing what we are capable of doing back in that 2017. Considering our experience and networking, we think that we are completely capable of writing and producing locally relevant or contextual storybooks. So we decided to pivot our main program. We pivot from building libraries to produce locally relevant storybooks and donate the books to rural libraries. By these storybooks, we hope every child is fully aware of their village local potential. Other principles we are adding here are to build emancipation and social relation with their family and friends, and have a brief knowledge of collective economy. In the Kemiriori series here, we introduce kids to candlenut, starting with planting them, nurturing the plants, learning to make natural fertilizer from organic or kitchen waste, and learning to use natural pesticides methods. After harvesting the candlenut, the kid brings his candlenut to a farmer co-op to be processed into candlenut oil, which is good for hair, processed into food, soap, or even medicine. To date, we have produced 9 storybooks from 3 areas, from Sawalunto in West Sumatra, from Silus Island in South Sulawesi, and from a small village on the foot of Ebulobo Mountain in East Nusa Tenggara, which we have been distributed to 600 libraries in remote communities in Indonesia. Most of the kids are really enjoying the books as it is beautifully illustrated and has relevant context to their own village. Most of them are growing to know more about their village and have more proud on their village value and potential. Several kids are even starting to make their own natural fertilizers. It has a very good result, but we did our reflecting times again and improved the program. Program has more successful rate when the educators are democratic and critical. Educator here is not merely a teacher, but someone who influences others. And we expand our program to how to generate or empower the quote-unquote educators and prepare them to be the change makers in their community. But who are the powerful and influential educators and the change makers in the rural community? We've been lived in rural communities since 2010, and we've seen how youth become the bridge between older and younger generation. They embrace and can interact well with both sides. In addition, they have a better access towards technology, information, and networks. And as we can see here, Book for Mountain will position themselves as a bridge between the village to other village, experts, and the city. And to build the bridge sustainably, we are holding on to these 4 values. Learn and learn. We have to keep monitoring and evaluating the program. Collectivism, for their own good, we optimally engage the local community. Regenerative, not only sustainable, but we have to do more good by designing a program that has a better impact to people and planet. And it has to be locally relevant or contextual. Through those values, we set a certain objective of this new approach or program. First, we want to minimize interventions so youths have more space in observing, learning, critically thinking, and innovating for their community, all done independently, not relying on us or others to initiate and develop a movement. By encouraging more participation by local youth, we are focusing more on creating a long-term impact as the initiatives come from the locals who deeply know their community. Then in 2022, we will have our existing program in preparing our volunteers to be the future change makers, voluntary building, and our new and improved program, which is the youth camp. We envision a small intervention program which resulted in a high impact. We come from the basic ideas of how about the local youth who know more about their own community write their own storybooks. By this program, the local youth got to observe, learn, and critically think more about their community. Not only learn about writing and storytelling skills, but they also got to learn to develop themselves and their community. We will invite 4 local youths from each community to document their community stories, tradition into storybooks, or any literature tools. As they understand more, they will love more. They will go back to their community and ready to take action. After the youth camp, we will accompany them for 2 years to encourage them in staying in the same common vision and give them necessary skills through mentorship and classes. Through the youth camp, we have a short-term target, which is to produce storybooks or any relevant literature documentation for kids. It can be audiovisual, short movie, can be some articles in the website, or can be storybooks, anything that is relevant to the community. By well documenting the folklore, tradition, and community story, it can be told through books or website over generation. Currently, in Indonesia, we transfer the ancient knowledge by oral communication, which are easily forgotten or even changed. Then the follow-up initiatives or movement will be decided by youth based on each community's situation, problem, and potential. Can be to create awareness of local food to achieve food sovereignty, or can be initiating a community co-op or local SMEs or other relevant initiatives. We expect that in 1 year, we can collectively produce 28 locally relevant storybooks written by 28 aspiring youth change makers. And the storybooks will be donated to 2,000 libraries. In 5 years, our target is to empower 208 local youth change makers and donating 832,000 storybooks. We also hope that we can get a better and sustainable formula in developing local youth. And for the youth camp program, the pilot project will start in the mid of 2022. We are currently looking for funding to incubate the 28 youths from the well-curated 7 communities in Indonesia. The funding will also produce storybooks that will be donated to libraries, and will also generate a sustainable funding scheme to sustainably continue the next batch of the youth camp. And yes, you can support or participate in this movement. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Nini. The next is Raihal Fajri will bring you all to her mediator experience in the westernmost part of Indonesia, Aceh.
Good afternoon from Aceh, Indonesia. I'm Raihal Fajri, Executive Director of Kata Hati Institute. Thank you for the committee to have me at Kyoto conference. I would like to presentation my experience in the role of women in natural resources mediation processes in Aceh, Indonesia. Before we continue to my experience, I would like to show you the dance performed from Aceh. This is one of the Aceh tribe's traditional cultural performance that shows the harmony among the Aceh community, and it's called Ratu Huduk dance. Aceh is one of the provinces in Indonesia. After earthquake and tsunami hit Aceh in 2004, we can see Aceh on the two sides. Seeing the exploitation of natural resources in Aceh has to look at many sides. One side is towards normalization of life after the earthquake and tsunami disaster and prolonged conflict. So sustainable development is necessary, but then resource exploitation creates gaps, poverty, and also violence. In this presentation, I divide the content of the discussion into 3. First, the issue that contains women, mediators, and conflicts over natural resources. The second, regulations, policies that discuss customary rules and or policies, local laws, and provincial and state policies. Suppose you look at the problem in more detail regarding gender dynamics of conflict, how extractive resources are managed by ignoring the rights of the community, especially women, land and renewable resources. Everything is wrapped in a strong patriarchal frame. I want to share my experience mediating environmental crimes committed by cement companies in Aceh with the local community. This map shows that potential conflicts in natural resource management occur in almost all regions in Indonesia with various types of companies. Based on the public's exposure that the impact of environmental damage due to the operation of this cement company result in heavy environmental pollution, air pollution due to the dust, waste disposal into the sea, marine pollution due to coal spills, the capsizing of transport vessels resulting in damage to coral reefs and the death of fish, as well as damage to agricultural products. In addition, the impact of blasting caused the wells and houses of residents to crack. The community has protested by demonstrating to the company and also protesting to the Aceh government. After the demonstration and both parties reached an impasse, a team was formed to mediate the process. I was one of the team members and had to facilitate the process between the committee and the company. Here, I would like to perform also skill of mediator. It is not easy because besides I have to have skills as a mediator, I am also faced with a patriarchal culture that limits me from participating in the mediation process at evening. Although I was able to overcome this latter by providing an understanding to the parties that Islam and Aceh's custom do not limit the space for women to move in any activity. As a mediator, I must have the capacity to understand the reality of all parties from their perspective. I can get both of their information by in-depth investigation, peels away the layers of the dispute and helping identify which information. I help them to arrange alternatives to settlement, find out the reality that ignore before to make them comfortable. The important thing is to manage anger from both of them and of course mine to bring us to formulate agreement. So far, the company has only entrusted the handling of cases to male mediators because they are considered more capable, even though female mediators have skills and transmit knowledge that controls information about the environment as guardians of the Mother Earth. It also influenced by patriarchal culture. Trained female mediators will also have the same capacity. Based on ILO data, the number of women mediators only 15% from the total mediator in Indonesia. This is the points of agreement between the company and the committee. Opportunities for women mediators in regulation are mentioned in international policies, Security Council Resolutions 1325 on Women, Peace and Security, National Policy of Indonesia, Supreme Court's Rules or Perma number 1 of 2016 concerning mediation. And we have also local policies in Aceh, Aceh Province Kanun or local law number 9 2008 concerning the guidance of customary life and custom in Aceh. What can then be done to support women mediators? First, formalizing women's roles in mediation. Second, supporting women's engagement in decision-making bodies. Third, protection and security. Capitalizing on women's leadership in civil society. And fourth, economic revitalization. This picture shows us, this is my experience picture during the mediation process. It requires resilience of women in the process. To end my presentation, I would like to highlight Mahatma Gandhi's word.
Peace is not the absence of conflict, but the ability to cope with it. For further information and discussion, don't hesitate to get in touch with me at the following address. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raihal. The fifth and the last presenter, Albertus Vembrianto, will bring you back to Papua with his visual mapping based on the stories of indigenous Papuans.
Hello, I am Albertus Vembrianto, an independent photojournalist. The last 7 years stay at Papua, Indonesia. I use visual medium to collect stories of indigenous Papuan based on consideration towards human daily life and collective memories, relation with environment, tragedy, and the humanity itself. I believe sustainable photography practice is an effort to reveal the complexity and diversity of problems, igniting the reality that humans live together, get abundance from nature, goodness, and remind of collective responsibility towards what has been damaged. Thank you for the opportunity given to present in this conference.
What thoughts video we saw. Thank you, Albertus. Now we move on to the questions and answer portion of our forum. I will read the questions and the presenters have 3 minutes maximum to answer each question. And please, the presenters, turn on your video. And I'm still waiting for you, the participants, to put the comments, questions on the chat box, please. We still have 25 minutes for discussion, for to comment on the questions. Westiani, could you open your video, please? Yes. Okay, thank you. I have one question here for Niniek for Book for Mountain. The question is, since the Book for Mountain member are colleagues, students, university students, so how do you maintain the sustainability of your program? Yeah, that's the answer. That's question.
Thank you. It's an interesting question. We currently have 2 dedicated officers to operate it daily basis, while the whole project, yes, it's from small to annual or bigger project, are mainly handled by volunteers who are university students mostly. And the interesting part is we start from 11 years ago. We experience all different characters of millennials to Gen Z, and we got to explore so many strategies to ensure that everyone stay in the same vision and everyone were fulfilled with the necessary skills after volunteering in Book for Mountain. The current strategy we operate on Book for Mountain is using sociocracy system, a semi-autonomous system for almost 4 years now. So we divided ourselves on small groups for each project with shuffling leadership roles. So everyone get to learn to be leader in Book for Mountain. And we encourage a collective decision making. So everyone had their voice. We make sure everyone embrace all the voices in Book for Mountain. Everyone is participated in the organization and everyone is getting upgraded through their experience in Book for Mountain. So that's why the volunteers are sustaining for like more than 5 years in Book for Mountain because everyone get the roles in our organization. That's all, maybe.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, and one more question. I think this come from Indonesia participants. Okay, the question is how we can get your books and how do you get all the fundings as you are all university students? That's, I think, the last question for you.
Okay, to get the books for remote areas libraries, we donate the books for free and we pay for the deliveries also. But if you are a public school or personal, you can find our books in Tokopedia, the e-commerce. Just search Book for Mountain. And for the funding, it's quite challenging. For the last 11 years, we have been fund each project through 3 schemes: crowdfunding, which all supports come from the personal donors, All the donors have been updated regularly through quarterly newsletters and emails, so they can get monitored the project by themselves. And secondly, we collaborate with artists and or local organizations to create merchandises, which all the profits are used to fund the project. And the third one is our newest scheme to ensure the storybook project can be funded independently. We develop a scheme of buy one, donate one. That's why the public can buy the storybooks, because at the same time, they also donate one storybook to kids library in remote area of Indonesia. So everyone get participated in building contextual education in Indonesia. However, Yosephin is a bigger program with great ambition and a much bigger impact. And for those, we required a lot bigger funding to start the project, to incubate the youth, to produce the storybooks and send it to 2,000 libraries, and also to generate a more sustainable funding scheme so we can grow independently and sustainably funding to fund the next batch of the youth camp. That's all.
Yeah, thank you, Nini. The next question for Albertus together with Yosephin. As the Papua is the easternmost part of Indonesia, and that sometimes the government only focus on the west side of Indonesia. That's the fact. That sometimes all the developments only focus on the west side. In this era, in this government era, all the developments, huge developments come to Papua. But ironically, like we saw from Fembry's photo and also Yosephin's story, that the reality is different from what the government said, unfortunately. Yes. So what do you think about the modernity that our Indonesian government said, and how do you see compared to the reality on this? Yeah, you saw from the daily life, their Papuans daily life. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you for the question. As you can see, Papuan nowadays face a very challenging situation related to the environment and social issues, because there are many people come into Papua also, which are non-Papuan, and they also bring their culture as well. And this is the big issues in Papua right now. So Papuan have to face non-Papuan, and then their environment also changing gradually, especially on the deforestation. There is a very big deforestation happening here, as we can found in any news spread in worldwide, I think. If you open Mongabay or the environmental portal, news portal, and please also pay attention on the credibility of the news portal if it is related to Papuan news. So you have to be careful also, because there are sometimes bias and different perspective based on who spread the news. And maybe Fembry wants to add.
My ongoing photo story wants to deliver how poverty and violence in Papua are structural, exists precisely because of the existence of the state and corporation. Yeah.
Thank you, Fajri and Yosephin. Do you still have more to be added? More information or answer?
Actually, we are now working on a kind of sandwich project, yeah, between myself and family, and we plan to create archives in the form of books and websites. So we work on documentation and writing, note taking, and meeting the Papuan people also. And so far we have financed this project with our own money. So this is a very slow project. If there is an opportunity for support, we hope it makes us more likely to reach out that project. So we can making books and websites. So what we have started can be continued and become hopefully a lesson for all of us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Yosephin, again. It's yeah, so sad to hear news from Papua. Yeah, especially you said it's depend on the media. We have to be careful. Yes, and the next question goes for Raihal. What's the biggest supports needed for women mediators, especially you who become a mediator in Aceh? As you said, Aceh has big issues of patriarchal, and how your family can support you, and also your surroundings, your not only your small families but also your big families and also your neighborhoods. Yes.
Thank you, Angelina. This is an interesting question and always ask question when I presentation about Aceh in any activities. My family support me totally because their belief, Islam as our religion, not limits the woman to do any activities. And if we can explain to the community, to the surrounding of us about this is the wrong culture that happen implementing in Aceh, and they will be understand because Aceh, if needed, I explain also about how Aceh in the past has Sultanah. Sultanah is a queen. We have 4 queens in Aceh, not only king in Aceh in the past. We have 4 queens, and Aceh live in the welfare status at that time, and we know Aceh not limited women activities, but it in some cases men and company, in my case bring this issue to limited the women as mediator. I think this is like the politic way to limit the women mediator in my case to get a win in the conflict process. Yeah, and in in my case, in my process of mediation between the community and the cement factory in Aceh, they use the this issue to limit because at that time only the women, only one from the others men mediation at that time, and they use the weak hadith, weak hadith, you know, weak hadith, weak hadith in Islam to limit that. It also happened not only in natural resource conflict, but also in election, in many kind of activities in Aceh. The company, the politician use the issue to win the process or to limit the women mediation or mediator or the women candidate in one of activities or event. I think that's. And thank you for my family to support me, and also my community. They understand that Islam not limit us to do any kind of activities. This is just the political situation by construct by patriarchal culture in Aceh, and I think in many regions in Indonesia also implementing this issue. If one part or one parties need to win in one conflict. I think that I hope can answer the question from
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Raihal. Yes, the family roles is the most important support for you, I think, from especially for from your for your husband and children to support you full. And also, oh, I have a question for Westiani. What's the biggest challenges, again, the biggest challenges that you've been faced so far, especially when you try to reach women in the heart area. It's sometimes the women layered, covered by men, and how do you reach women, and how you deliver your message to those women? Yes, that's the question.
Okay, thank you for
Okay, thank you for the question. The biggest challenge that we are first is the first is legal aspect, yeah, there is no clear or like a license or regulation for social enterprise, yeah, especially in this pandemic. If we want to access like help from government, we cannot access because for the business we looks not profitable because many activity social than more social activity than business profit. And for the if we want to access the donor opportunity, they look us as a business unit. So we have no like regulation or some track to accommodate our activity in social enterprise. And the second that I think the biggest is funding, yeah, because when we depend on income from the selling, it's not enough. So that's we have to find to another opportunity like raise personal donator or from crowdfunding. So that's the challenge. The others are strategic for campaign, yeah, to raise the support from the personal donator. And for reach the woman in the hard area, yeah.
Yeah.
We collaborate with the community in that area, like what you call it, PKK groups.
Oh, women groups.
Women groups in that area.
Groups. Oh, I see.
They're very open for our program because it's very significant in their daily needs, yeah. So they're very open when we so they like to invite us to make program in their group, something like that. Thank you, Reni.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's all the questions. Let me check. Wait a second. Let me check. Oh, okay. One more question for Westiani. One more question. Yes. As Biung Indonesia is a social enterprise, what kind of legal aspect do you need from the government? Actually, what kind of laws or legal aspect to help you to do your activities, especially in the grassroots? As you Biung Indonesia is a social enterprise.
Yes, we need some like legal aspect for that accommodate the business activity and social activities. Because when in Indonesia we only have business legal, and then cooperate legal, and then foundation legal, strictly spirit. It very hard to us to make like business plan or proposal, something like that. So if we have legal that accommodate both of the activities can help us to make easy to have license.
Yes, okay. Yeah, thank you again all the presenters and all the participants. Yeah,
Thank
we do
you.
appreciate your interest in these important issues. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.